Hello. Um, Good. So let's start. I had the idea to create this video sharing my story because I want to have it fresh. A few very important memories that I want to share with Michael when he's older. So, my name is Daniela. My baby's name is Michael. And I met his father 3.5 years ago, a little bit more. And his father passed away 1 month before he was born, so he didn't meet in person his dad. And I would like to have it recorded, this story, so I can show it to him when he's curious about it, when he wants to know. And yeah, we can start of how did I went to the Netherlands, how did I get there. So I was following the traditional path. So I was married with my high school sweetheart, who is still very dear to me, and I was working in the family business. I was following my parents' steps in that way, and yeah, I lived a very traditional life choices and path. But I was growing my career, but I was feeling that that was not what I was supposed to be doing at that moment. And I still, because I really liked being part of the family business, and helping it to grow, and also developing my career, growing on the steps, let's say, of my career. I kept on going for 5 years, so I was in total 10 years working for the family business, but I still had this feeling that I needed to do something different, and I had absolutely no idea what it was. And my family business is a school and also a college, so I was my whole life, like at least 5 days a week, I was in the family business since I was 3 years old. So I figured that if I didn't came out of it, like out of the town that I lived and the business itself, I would not be able to open my mind to new possibilities, to new creativity, to whatever was there, what I needed. So yeah, so I left, and that was extremely hard. It was very difficult for people around me to understand why I was doing that. I even didn't know all the whys. I just knew that I needed to do it, and I decided that I needed to go to somewhere different, and I thought that Europe would be a nice place for it. And in Europe, I chose Amsterdam, and it was nice because my sister, she had lived in Barcelona for a couple of years, and she traveled all around Europe. And when I said that I wanted to go to Amsterdam, she said, "Wow, you're gonna love it. You're not coming back." And I found it funny by the time, but actually she was quite right. And I really, really loved when I got there. I never felt so happy and light and free and connected to myself and guided as the 3 months that I spent there in this first time that I went there. And it brought me a lot of experiences. And in one workshop that I was doing, we had a meditation exercise that includes movement. And at some point, I felt that I was dancing. And when I felt that, it came an inner knowing that whatever I had to do had something connected to dance. And I had no idea what it would be, because when I was child and teenager, I tried all kinds of dances, classes, and styles that I could go to, and I never felt that I fit in. I'm terrible doing step-by-step stuff. So it was not my place yet. So I didn't know how dance would come into my life. But I put myself the challenge to experiment new kinds of dances and to allow myself to show how I really am. And that's, it's a package of stuff that I can tell in another video later. And in the first day that I went out in Amsterdam and I was going on the streets, and I heard some classical music, so I went towards it to see what it was. And there were like 2 girls playing the violins, and yeah, it felt good. It felt like I wanted to dance on it. But at the same time, it comes all these thoughts like, what will other people think? Will dance right? Will be like how I'm going to be judged, and this kind of stuff. And I kind of walked away from it. But then I remembered the challenge that I had put myself, that I needed to show who I am. And if I felt like dancing, that was what I needed to do, right? And so I asked the girls if I could dance on their music. They said okay, so I danced, and it was super good. I felt very connected to myself, to my body, to the movement. And after that, I told them this story that I just shared with you, and they said, one of them said, like, hey, for what you're saying, I think you might like ecstatic dance. So you should go to Odessa on Thursday. It's at 7, and I went on my phone to put like Google Maps where it was and calendar and everything. And it was 2 days later, and I was there. And that day changed my life in so many good ways. I think it was a mind-opening moment for me. And it was my first ecstatic dance, and it was also the first time that I met Otto, the father of my baby. And it was so interesting. I had no idea what ecstatic dance was. So I came in, the host told me what were the guidelines. I will share all that in another video for you. And I felt that it really sounded like me. I had done 15 years of theater when I was kid and teenager, so I felt it connected a lot with what I lived in theater and what I loved about it. So I felt good, and this part's still important. I was in an open marriage, so I was still carrying my ring, and it was the first time that I put the ring away, because I thought, well, the ring was a bit loose, and I didn't want to lose it, and I didn't want my mind to be connected to it. So it's curious that I took the ring away for the first time, and I went down to the dance floor only wearing like this kind of clothes, like comfortable clothes. And I got there, I saw something that looked like an altar. I went there, I did my meditation, there was already music going on. And then I felt like, okay, now I can start to see what my body wants to do. And so I sat, took some breath, and started feeling the movement. And then I started doing like this with my hands. And then it looked like a snake, and I was like, oh, okay, awesome. Let's see where it goes. And then my whole body was already moving, and then like I was in a higher part that was like 2 steps, and I kind of crawled as a snake through the steps to the dance floor. It was, and it's interesting because my mind was like observing it and thinking, it's kind of crazy, but it feels right. And I was still learning how to dive into my body and take the mind away. Not take the mind away, but really be in my body. And then when I went on the dance floor, that I turned belly up, I saw on the top there were like parrots, birds, kind of paper in the ceiling, and the music was very with nature sounds and animal sounds on it. So I felt like in the middle of the Amazon. So I start like swimming backwards in the middle of the dance floor. Like, don't take this as an example of what everybody does in an ecstatic dance. I didn't see much people swimming on the dance floor, but yeah, it was my experience and how I allowed myself to dive into it with like everything, not holding back, and that was awesome. And after the ceremony opening, that I will also explain in another video, when it started, the music start the set, I was with a kind of Brazilian Jaguar kind of shirt, and I just went down on the floor and started moving like it. And when I looked between the legs of everybody else, I saw Otto's eyes, and I connected to it, and he was doing like the same kind of move, and we moved towards each other, and it started there. The most incredible moment of my life. We connected in so many levels, in so many dimensions, I might even say, that it blew my mind away. It took my body on this amazing dance that we shared. We were able to flow with each other and challenge each other and grow. And at some point, I felt so safe that I could like drop down all my fears, my armors, my masks, and I was completely in the flow. Like, I was just allowing my body to move as it wanted to move, as it could do. And in that dance, I did moves and yeah, things that I thought like if I trained for a year, I would not be able to do. And just for being present and being this awesome connection that we shared in that moment, I moved in ways that were, yeah, we moved and we connect in a beautiful, beautiful, loving way. And during this dance, it came that thought of safety, and then it popped up a kind of thought of intuition, I don't know how you call it, that was the first man I met in my life that I would trust to have a child with. And I was in a moment that I really didn't want to have child. I had thought of it, and I had like kind of decided that I wanted to be free and independent, and baby would take that away. So I didn't want to have babies at that point. And so it was so antagonic. I don't know if that's an English word, but it was so different from my line of thought from the time that it kept on my memory, that thought. So after that, we talked, because in the ecstatic dance, it's a no-verbal space. Like, everything he was saying was what I was thinking, and what I was saying was what he was thinking. Like, the way we did jokes was the same, and yeah, the things that we did, we would do the same. It was just a super nice talk, and we start talking from there. It was complicated in so many levels, in so many areas, I mean, because I was in an open marriage, but still married, and yeah, he had a girlfriend at the time, and a beautiful person who I love, and it's very dear to me as well. And yeah, we had to go through a lot of experiences. And those experiences, we challenge each other to grow, we challenge each other to face our shadows, we supported each other, we were from our most vulnerable to our most powerful, from our most loving to our most angry with each other, and we felt that we were enough to hold the space for the other, and that's an incredible feeling as well. And yeah, after a while I had a dream. I think it was more or less a month after I met Otto, where I saw in a very green space. It felt very happy. It was the most bright and colorful dream that I have had so far. I saw a baby very happy coming towards me, and after I recognized that baby as feeling like mine, I saw Otto coming behind him and getting him and putting him on his shoulder. And the interesting thing is that years later, when Otto holded my nephew, he put him on the shoulder the same way I had dreamed, and I didn't explain him how it was, but the movement was the same. So it's super nice to see the synchronicities. And so I stayed 3 months in Amsterdam, and the weekend before I came back, I had another kind of vision, dream thing, that I heard the voice of a boy saying that he chose his parents way before he was born, and it was for a purpose, that the parents were from different cultures, different languages, different countries, and that also touched me deeply and gave me this certainty of that Michael would come one day. And his name was not Michael yet, so I think 2 years before Michael was born, me and Otto, we were having dinner with friends, and then we were talking over tea, and we told the stories about the baby and how we were processing it, because it was having a baby. It was a big fear for me and also for Otto, so we both hold back a bit, and during all these years we processed a lot of our inner fears to be able to create the space and the courage to bring Michael to this world. And after this talk, the subject changed, and one of the friends said something about Archangel Michael. And when I heard this name, I felt a ball of light here. And that was the way I was feeling the energy of Michael already for a few months. During ecstatic dance, I would dance with him, and let me finish this story first. So I felt this ball of energy, and when I felt that, it came the intuition, the thought that, well, maybe that's the name of the baby. And when I thought that, the friend that was in front of me didn't hear my thoughts, but she said, yeah, that's it. And because I didn't know if what she was thinking was what I was thinking, I explained what I felt, and she said, yeah, I felt it too. That's it. And that's how we chose the name of Michael. And going back to how I felt his energy, so I went through a period that I could really feel his energy, like touching it, even like, I don't know the word in English for this, like fazer carinho, cuddle it, yeah. I could cuddle it, I could dance with him, and it felt super good. And through a period, I even felt like all the conception process, like I could feel, I felt like when the sperm gets to the egg, I think I believe I felt it through energy and through inside of me. I felt that, and when the egg gets to the uterus, when it connects, I felt that. And yeah, it didn't happen at the time, but it was super important for me to go through all that, to realize more things that me and Otto had to work on to have Michael here. And yeah, there was amazing experiences. And yeah, so we created Michael in Alto Paraíso. The day I think it might have been on that the same day that I created from a kind of string of grass 2 rings, and I proposed to Otto. And yeah, so we have grass engagement rings. I still keep them as a good memory. And I think might have been on that day that we created Michael. And yeah, it was a beautiful pregnancy. Super hard end of the pregnancy. It was super tough. Yeah, it was the hardest thing I've been through in my whole life, of course. Losing Otto so close to giving birth of Michael and not having him in the physical way there with me through the birth of Michael, but I'm sure he was there in energy, he was supporting me. It was an amazing birth, very fast, super intense. As fast it was also super intense. But also I was completely dived into my body and connected with me and Michael. And yeah, now he's there. In a few videos you for sure will see him. I hope to dance with him in a video and talk a little bit more about how it's been for me, this journey with Michael. Thank you for watching.